which team or teams in the Big 12 do I think is getting overhyped? And I'm curious about y'all's comments. First, though, I am going to say Colorado. I don't get why they're getting so much love in the media to think about 8 or 9 wins or compete with the Big 12. I just don't see it, period. I get they have Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. At the end of the day, though, there's more guys than that. And the defense was terrible last year. It's not mentioning the old line. And they can't run the ball or protect Shedeur Sanders. And after so many hits on the quarterback, it takes their toll and knocks them out. Out of the game. Like, not just for that game, but potentially the season ending or multiple games in a row. But you get the whole point. Another thing, too, Colorado was 3-0 last year. Guess how many wins did they get from the rest of the year? 1. They even lost to Stanford. That's terrible. So, I would not buy in their hype. I will say 6 or 7 wins is possible, but not like 8 or more. I could see 6 or 7 wins, but at the end of the day, I just don't see them as a bowl team. That's what I think their ceiling is, 6-6 or 7-5. But I'm not buying into that hype. Another team that I thought of is Oklahoma State. And I know Oklahoma State fans will be upset with me with this. Here's the deal. Alan Bowman is not a good quarterback. Look at the numbers. Numbers don't lie. Touchdown interception ratio, nearly 1-1 last year. And I know they have a lot of experience coming back. And they bring back Ollie Gordon. And they got Mike Gundy as their head coach. But look, Oklahoma State last year was 5-1 in one possession games. That's not easy to replicate year to year. Ask 2022 Baylor try to do what 2021 Baylor did. Ask what TCU did in going into 2023 year from 2022. It's not that easy. It's not mentioning the defense was bad last year. Now I know they're changing schemes, but you get the whole point. 5-1, half your wins, including a bowl game, was by one possession. And it's not mentioning 3 other teams that beat them last year were in blowout fashion. South Alabama, Texas, and UCF. So you get the whole point. So you could, and that's why their number is 7.5. That's why it is what it is on that, because of all the one possession wins they had last year. It's not easy to replicate. So I could see them taking a dip from last year. I could. The last team I'm going to mention is Kansas. They lost to OC to Penn State. That's first things first. Sure, they got Jeff Grimes, but he was fired from Baylor. And Jeff Grimes is a terrible play caller. If you have the right guys, it will work for a system. It just didn't work at the very end at Baylor, but you get the whole point. And another thing, Jalen Daniels has to stay healthy for Kansas to think about 9 or 10 wins, while their defense does need to improve. Because without Jalen Daniels, I do not see 9 or 10 wins. And Kansas' backup quarterback is not going to be as good as James Sabine. It's not. It's just being truthful. That's somebody with experience in the college game and familiar with the system. So, that's my 3 teams that I think they're getting a little too much hype. Though I will say Cincinnati at 5.5 wins is a little high. And I think Colorado is a little high. Like I said, Colorado is just getting too much love. I think they should be down lower, like 4.5. And same thing goes for Cincinnati. I do think now that Texas Tech. I know at one point Texas Tech was at 8.5 wins. That was a little bit high. Now it dropped down to 7.5. That seems more realistic. That's where I think they should be. But West Virginia's getting not enough love here. They should be at 7.5. They really should be. So that's just my thoughts on this. Obviously, I can't say Houston. I can't say BYU. I can't say Arizona State. Cincinnati, I think maybe a little bit too much hype with the over-under, especially under Scott Satterfield, and he needs to pick it up this year, because if he doesn't, he might be fired after this year. And I know it's only coming off of year 2. I get it. It's just being brutally honest, and I really do think their ceiling is like 5-7 or 6-6. So they're not getting overhyped when compared to Colorado, Oklahoma State, or Kansas, but you get the point. UCF sounds about right at 7.5 wins right now, and same thing goes for Arizona. They lost a head coach. I mean, and there's some turnover there, and I know they got Noah Fafia back and Tate McMillan, but they lost some other guys. So, yeah. And TCU seems about right with 7.5. And by the way, Hoover, their quarterback, missed the entire spring. So, we'll have to wait and see due to injury, by the way. And Kansas State at 9.5, I think I could totally see that's spot on for them. So that's just my thoughts, and I'm curious what y'all think on which team or teams in the Big 12 do you think are getting overhyped. And I'm not going to say that Oklahoma State's going to go down to not making a bowl game by any stretch. Oh no, I still think they're definitely going to be a bowl team, like at least 6-6 or 7-5. But will they be a 10-win team? I don't know. I could see it, but I can't. At the same time, I think they could finish worse than last year's team, despite all the experience back. So, anyways, if you like this content, hit the like and subscribe button. See you guys later on the road to 700 subscribers. Of course, ultimate goal is 1,000 or more. So, make money out of this. Of course, like the video, comment the video really helps YouTube algorithm so more people can see it. Sharing the video does help as well, so more people can watch. And if you're watching and not subscribed, hit subscribe button for the notification bell as well. And Kalani Sitake from BYU does need to pick it up as well. Because if he doesn't make a bowl game, does he get fired? Maybe, maybe not. And David Aranda on that situation, it's 50-50 whether or not he's going to get fired or not. And I know it's a cop-out answer, but it's the truth. Because if he goes 6-6, I think he comes back. But obviously like 4-8 or 3-9, no way. 5-7, I don't know. But it's truthful. And that's what David Smoke and his son Craig Smoke said on 365 Sports last week when asked that question. And same thing goes for like, what if Baylor finishes 11th? They just ultimately said, and same thing goes for Paul Catalina. They said, it depends on what Baylor's record is. And I know that David Smoke said it depends how they look. But Craig Smoke said, yeah, but if they get to 6-6, Aranda should be back. And I know there's a Texas fan that thinks 6-6 he should be fired. I don't know what you're thinking, that Texas fan's thinking. And you know who you are. It's just, are you thinking 8 wins? If so, how realistic do you think it's going to happen? I'm giving that like a 10% chance for Baylor to get to 8 wins here this year. I really just think the ceiling is more like 7-5. But, and I'm not to deny, 8-4 is not impossible. It's just not realistic enough. It's not like Texas, like a Texas coach is going into a really big year or else he's fired. Like, you got to win 9 games or more just to keep your job and not go like 8-4 or 7-5 again. That's Texas standards are different than Baylor standards. Point blank.